What's going on, guys? Welcome back, and today I'm going to be doing what Games Workshop hasn't been able to do for decades and bringing you a Primaris Lieutenant. Or, I'm going to say a former captain of the Ultramarines, Titus. Yes, that's right. Doing a quick kit bash. Just in celebration of Space Marine 2, I've taken a bit of the scene out of that little trailer that we've all seen. I know you've seen it. And decided to get it from PlayStation to tabletop. So let's have a look and see what I've done, shall we? So, with a box of Blade Guard Veterans and the Assault Intercessors sprue, I've managed to throw some bits together. I've also nicked another part from, luckily, I had a certain box from a kill team that I made with some bits left over, which really sort of changed the direction of where I was going with this build. You'll see the turnaround and the light bulb moment in a bit, I promise. So the main point of focus for this is going to be the Blade Guard Veterans. That's where most of our parts are going to be coming from. So that's going to be our legs and torso, most of the arms, and most of the bits of equipment. But we do need the Assault Intercessors because we need that chain sword, and we're going to need one of the arms, quite possibly, because if you notice, he's holding his weapons in reverse to how most weapons are sculpted onto 40k characters. So he's got his bolt pistol in his left hand and his chainsword in his right hand. There's a little bit of mix and matching to be done, but it's very easy, as Blade Guard Veterans, as it says in the tin, has got lots of sword arm options that we can quickly convert. First things first though, we're going to have to start trimming away some of these excess bits that we're not going to need. So I'm getting rid of the cloth or loincloth that's dangling down in the front of him here. Now also I'm going to have to trim down that front codpiece in order to make it look like a regular Space Marine's torso. Otherwise, once he's all painted up, he's not going to look right, and he's going to look like he needs to walk around bent at the waist. So now that we've got his groinal area looking a little bit more like a Space Marine, a little bit more Space Marine-y weenie, we're going to move on to the next part of this little kit bash here. What we're going to be doing now is swapping over some swords. So we've got the power sword from the Blade Guard Veterans kit, and we've got the chain sword from the Assault Intercessors kit. We're just going to use our hobby blade, slice them off, swap them round, and use your hobby blade just to clean up the area. And before we glue anything together, just to make sure that there's a nice firm hold, we're going to cut up a paper clip, drill it out, and pin it so that this doesn't fall off as easily. Just going to speed it up, and then we'll have a look at me going through all the motions. Okay, so Titus has spent some time with the Black Templars and the Inquisition. As we know, at the end of Space Marine 1, he was taken away by the Inquisition, obviously for some questionings, because he's not exactly Codex compliant, but that's why we love him. So I'm just going to remove this Indomitus Crusade symbol from his arm, just going to file it down with my hobby knife, and then underneath, where between the handle of the sword and his wrist, I am going to use my pin vise just to drill a slightly larger hole in order to be able to put that chain in between his wrist and the sword, because we don't want it going over the handle, but we do want it going around the top where the handguard for it is. And once we're happy that the wrist has been filed down and that hole is big enough to accommodate our chain, we're then going to use a bit of super glue just to initially attach one side of the chain, then we'll wrap it around the wrist, and then we'll glue it in place, and then we'll just put a bit of glue over the whole thing to make sure that it doesn't move around afterwards, which will obviously that will affect the paint job later on. So there we are, once we've got our chain in place and we're happy with the end result, just go over it, as I said, with a bit of glue just to make sure that we solidify it and keep it in the same place so it's not going to move around later. Now again, referencing back to the trailer that we watched, you can see that the pauldron that Titus is wearing is flat rimmed one, so because this arms come from the intercessor's box, it's got that monopose with the pauldron already attached, so I'm just going to trim it down with my hobby knife just to flatten it out and make it look more like it does in the trailer, so it fits a bit better. And we're going to do exactly the same with the pauldron that comes from the Blade Guard Veterans kit, so we need to trim it down, make it look a little bit more like a standard pauldron that the Ultramarines use, or any Space Marine uses for that fact. Now the next thing we're going to do is take the lower part of the shin from the Blade Guards pact, and we're going to attach that on, but we need to remove the skull that is covering the knee, because if we reference our photo from the trailer, you'll see it's got a white background with a blue Ultramarine symbol on his right knee. So we need to remove that detail so we can add that in later on after we've painted it. So I said earlier that you'll see the light bulb moment, and just watch, because what I'm doing at the moment, I'm just finally sort of putting it together going, okay, I've pretty much done with this kit bash. I'm just gluing on the arms, and then it struck me. That arm with the pistol in, well, what could we put in that arm instead? Well, we all saw him rip off that Tyranid warrior's head. I think he's going to need that. So I quickly removed the bolt pistol from the hand and put together the Tyranid warrior's head. Now I tried a couple of positions for this. The first one looked like he was trying to use it as some sort of shield, and that was me trying to be cheap, quick, and just get it done. Then I took it off and carved out part of the top carapace on one of those horns or horn-like areas, just to make it look like he's holding on to that bit, and he's sort of holding it victoriously after removing the Xenos's. Felt my inner Death Watch coming out there. Anyway, now that that's all done and we've got him all put together, I think it's time we finish this up, give him the paint job that he deserves, and have a look at the final product. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, subscribe if you've enjoyed it. I'm sure someone else that you know will as well. And I hope to see you in the next one.